we have our 10 pipe cleaners. Even the girl at the smoke shop said, you know, you can get longer ones at the craft store. And I said, no, those are not pipe cleaners. Those are chenille stems. They're not as tightly packed and the wires aren't as strong. Now, I just, about an inch, a little bit more. I'm going to, it's probably about an inch. Just turn up a little bit more than the length of the finger. And squeeze that down. White floral tape. If you can only get gray or green, that'll work too. It's just that I prefer white because I don't have to worry about whether or not you can see the color through the fabric. Just going to use a little bit. I don't need it to hold that together. What I need it to do is not to allow the wire to poke out through the end. See, it's just sticking out there. The adhesive on floral tape is wax, and you have to stretch it in order to activate it. Now I'm going to begin by starting with the pinky finger. Make sure you get it all the way to the tip. Actually, I don't usually put it in without. Grasp it firmly with the hemostat. And that way I can pull the finger until I get it all the way into the very tip. There. That's it. I can actually bend that out of the way to hold it in place while I do the next one. Just over the tip to protect it from the wire. Just takes a little bit. You don't want to use a lot because these wires are going to take up a lot of space inside the hand. And that wrist is only, what, less than a ½ inch wide. Okay, so number 2. Keep that flat against its. Now, the thumb. I'm going to turn this I'm not going to flatten that as tightly as I did the others because the thumb is larger. The thumb is going to go right up through the center of the wrist and then come out this way. That will allow you to move the thumb actually as an opposable thumb is supposed to move. I'm going to slide this one right up the center, and then using this hand, I'm going to push it into the thumb, and then I'm going to turn it so it's flatter that way. And I'm going to use my finger here to bend that wire so it comes down the center of the other 4. And it also forms this little business right here, the heel. Now, the thumb can be turned that way. Now, before we do any more there, I'm going to take a larger hemostat, place it across all the fingers and lock it and push the palm of the hand up. Now remember, this is the thumb, and that has to stay on top of the others. Take about 8 to 10 inches. Just make sure that thumb wire stays in the center of the others. Now, I'm not going to wrap that all the way up because this is probably too long. It's going to have to be whacked off anyway. All right, actually, that seam allowance turned up inside by itself on the other side, so I'm just going to push it up in here as well. Now we need a little bit of stuffing in the palm of the hand. It should be about enough. And just a wee little bit from the little batch into the end of each finger, not the end, but this area. I'm going to wrap this softly. Stick this end into the base of the thumb. Now, depending on how you are going to pose this hand, you could, this is not necessary, it's very optional, you could draw a little dart, a little crescent dart, and ladder stitch that, pulling that thumb over this way, and you have quite a realistic little hand. And we need a little bit on the back of the hand, because that's beginning to look like my hand since she's a young girl. Not an old grandma like me. Alrighty. Push a little bit into the base of each finger. But you don't want fat fingers or fat palms. Now, a lot of doll makers think that the fingers bend from here. They don't, they bend from here. So you put your hemostats across the knuckles and just bend the whole thing. Then, bend them from here and begin from here. And even from here if you're going to make a fist. You can do almost anything with these hands that you can do with yours, except hold large things. You can hold small things. You can also manipulate the wrist. Do all kinds of